sweet. Hopefully this light won't be in the way here. There we go. No. Oh, that's going to help or make it worse. There we go. Okay. All right. Wait for a few people to come on. This light is so bright. Let's see if I can go up with it. All right. There we go. Let's see if we can get this light to go up. Having a hard time getting this all adjusted to where I need it. There we go. All right, go like that. So it's not so obtruse. There we go. All right. Cool. All right. Tuesday. All right. All right. Let's see here. What's going on here? All right. Good. There we go. No, maybe not. Yeah, that's all right. All right. We'll just stop beginning. Okay, everybody. So welcome back to another Tuesday. I apologize for the dungeon lighting. I do have one of my lights above me, but I can't tell if the lighting is good, terrible, or indifferent. So I apologize in advance for the lighting. I am going to turn another light on in a minute. But I just wanted to say welcome to the Two-Stroke Tuesday live chat. So what are we doing tonight? Tonight I'm trying something completely new. Hey, how you doing from Idaho? Wow, nice, good. Thank you. Welcome. So I'm doing something that I've been saying I've been wanting to do. I haven't figured out how to do it, so please bear with me. As you guys know, I am not tech savvy when it comes to computers, lighting, and all that type of stuff. I'm in a dungeon, literally. Okay, my living room. It's very dark. There is no overhead lighting. It just has these little lights that I made in the background. So anyway, enough with that. I wanted to take a swing at doing a live that has some tech to it. And I've been, how you doing, Kane? I wanted to do something a little different. Okay, Bob, I wanted to do something that has a little bit of that can help people out when they're trying to diagnose a no spark condition. If you see me getting up and down, I apologize. I got bad knees, bad legs, and all that type of stuff. Frank, how you doing? So, what I want to do is I want to do one on ignition. And I want to show you guys because I get a ton of questions about ignition. And they're all great questions. But the problem is a lot of people just don't understand. And I think that right there is what the big difference is the fact that you're talking, but they don't understand. They don't see what you're doing. How you doing? Getting a lot of people online. This is good. So for tech tonight, I'm going to show you guys how to check a ignition system. I'm going to kind of be in the video, but not quite all the way, if that makes any sense. So let me get up here. I'm going to try to get comfortable at the same time, do some tech. And of course, I got on a little late, or not enough time to do what I needed to do. Okay. I said 7:30, but I had to make supper. All right, here we go. Okay, so here we go. Perfect. Everybody can see. All right, cool. So this is a Suzuki DS100 engine that I picked up. I did a video on it a while back, but I'm going to bring it back onto the channel to show you guys this. Because you need to know where the power is made, where the electrical is made, and let's see here, and how this is all done. So we're going to be using terminology tonight like field. What is field? How does this even happen? How is this power even made? What's the power? And this is a flywheel right here from a KE100, and you can see how it's got the 3 magnets. Well, what happens is when this magnet starts to spin, okay, it creates a field. A field is an electrical energy, and that energy puts power to this coil right here. So as the magnets pass these 2 poles, it generates electricity. The generator is creating electricity. That electricity is then stored, I keep forgetting this is mirrored, in the capacitor, okay? So what is a capacitor? Is it like a battery? Because it looks like a battery. No, but it's close. What it is, it's a storage reservoir, okay? So what it does is as the magnets pass these poles, it creates electricity from these coils. these electricity coils power up this capacitor, holds it. So if you ever watch the movie Ghostbusters Afterlife, it's a perfect example. They turn the power on, it charges up the what do you call it there, the big homemade capacitors, and then what it does is it releases all of it right at once. Boom, that's it. Okay, and what controls that is your points. Okay, your points determine when it's going to release. It's a timed system. So kind of like when you watch those videos and the movies, and they're all standing back there and they're waiting for this building to blow up, and they push down on the plunger, and the whole building detonates. Same principle. Okay, power is being generated as the flywheel spins. The electricity made at the coil here is going to charge the capacitor here or condenser, and then at the right time, when the flywheel gets to a certain degree, it's going to open this up. It's going to cause a collapse in the system, and that's going to release all that power. Well, for some people, like, well, I don't really understand. I can show you another way field is made. This plate right here, this is one of my, it takes a C cord, like a USB-C cord, and this is a charger for my cell phone. Put your cell phone on it, and it charges. This has a coil of wire, and when it's plugged in, creates a magnetic field. That field charges the phone. It's the same principle. It works both ways. Field is used in everything. Field used on your TV sets, in stereos, all that type of stuff. So I'm going to show you how to check and see if this is working correctly or if it is not working correctly. Okay, so the way I'm going to show you this is real simple. First, you have to identify your magneto wire. Okay, now on Kawasaki, Suzuki, Yamaha, and all that, the wire is typically black. Okay, that is your black wire. The black wire with the white stripe is typically a ground. Okay, so on this one right here, it's a black wire. And then this wire right here is for your lighting. So the yellow wire is for your lighting. The black wire right here is for your ignition. This is going to go, one of these wires is going to go into a V. So it's going to plug in, it's going to have a V, and it's going to have, this is cool, guys. Your ignition coil is going to go into one side of the V, and then your kill switch, which is going to go from your black wire to a black and white wire, black wire with a white stripe, and that's your ground. Okay, that can be grounded to your case or anything you want to ground it to. Okay, that's going to be your kill wire. So this is one wire is going to your coil, and the other wire is going to go to your kill switch on your handlebars or your ignition key. Okay, so that's how that works. Now we're gonna say, well, I bought the bike. I'm just kind of come up with a scenario. I need to order a coil. I don't have a coil, so we're going to get this coil out of here for right now. Okay, but before my coil comes in, I want to see if my magneto is any good. Okay, I'm sorry about the thing bouncing around. My floor is kind of wobbly here, guys. I'm bouncing the table. I apologize for that. So what we're going to do is we're going to see if the magneto is any good. How do we do that? How do we test it without a coil? Do we need a multimeter? What are the ohm settings? We don't have any of those specifications. We don't even have a manual. We're going to pretend we don't have a manual for this thing. We just want to do a quick reference just to see if the magneto is good before the new coil comes in. That's all we want to do. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to remove the spark plug. We're going to take that right out of the system. Okay. With the spark plug removed, now I can crank this engine over. No problem. Okay. Now we're going to disconnect that black wire that's coming off the magneto. Okay. It comes out here. We're going to disconnect that from the circuit. We're going to take it out of that V I told you about. All right. So right now, by taking this off the V, we just isolated this right here. It's only the magneto. It's nothing more, nothing less, just the magneto. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this wire and we're going to put up against something like the block or a screw. Okay, I'm going to have to get up and do this so I can show you. All right, but it's going to take, let me see if I can figure out how to do this here. Okay, hold on a second. I might have to call one of my kids for assistance here. All right, 1 second. All right. So turn the engine over like that. I'm going to take this right here, and I'm going to stick it right on this wire here. Okay, I wish I could show you guys a little better here. But when I do this, oh, do you see that spark? Let me shut this light off right here. We're going to be in the dark for a minute, everybody. Okay, now I'm taking that screw that right here, and I'm holding this wire up against it. Okay, I'm going to try, see if I can do this a little faster. Yeah, see that? There you go. I don't know if the camera's picking that up. Let me try changing my angle here. Because this is mirrored, so I'm trying to see how I can do this. Okay, like that. Ready? Oh, that was a good one. All right. Can anybody see that? There you go. That was a good one. Okay. So anyway, you can see that light, that flash. That right there was the arc. That right there, what you just witnessed, was all the energy that was stored up inside this capacitor releasing all at once. Everything that was stored in this, poof, gone, out the window. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for the super chat. So this right here releases it all. Now we want to put a coil in line, okay, to see if we can get spark on the coil. So okay, well, geez, now my coil came in. Oh, I'm boxed. You're all happy. Hey, I got my coil in. Okay. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to see if I can mount this to here. Because it has to be mounted. I don't know if I brought a screw in. Okay. But if I brought a screw in, I'd be able to mount it right there. Hold on a second. Bear with me, guys. I thought I had a screw. Oh, I did right here. Okay. I'm going to see if I can run the screw in far enough to show you this. This is super cool. I love doing these tech things. I think that we're going to start doing this a little bit more often. I think a little bit of Tech Tuesday, two-stroke Tuesdays. Okay, so anyway, now I'm going to put the coil on. I don't know if it'll go in far enough, guys. I hope it does. Hope the screw is short enough to go in all the way. Because it has to be grounded. Okay. I apologize for not being able to read the comments at the same time I'm doing this. So please bear with me. Okay, I don't know if I'll be able to do it. We're going to try. All right, that's what we're going to do. We're going to try. We're going to take a spark plug. We're going to throw this in here. And hopefully it makes a connection. Okay, like that. And I don't have this is a different coil for this motor. So it has the same ends. So what I'm going to do is, oh no, I'm not holding that. Nice try, guys. I'm just going to take one of these alligator clips I have, and I'm just going to clip the two together. Okay. There we go. Like so. Okay. Now, see if I can get this thing to spark. Hopefully the ground is good down here because I don't have a really good ground there. Hey, Andrew, Nikki, keep it down. Okay. All right. So now, oh, like that. My kids are being wicked loud. All right. Shut the light off again. We're going to see if we can spark at that plug. All right, ready? Nope. I don't have a good enough ground. Try holding it out like that. No, I don't have a screw long and short enough for this. But maybe, just maybe, if I had another spot, I might be able to. I'd really like to show you guys that. It's super cool how it works. Some of these cases don't have long screw holes, so just have to bear with me for a moment. Yeah, if it's loose, yeah, I know. If it's loose, it won't work. It has to be tight. You got to get a good solid ground. Without a good ground, that's it. That's the end of it, you know. Okay, and you shouldn't be able to move it around. I think the screw that I have is just a little too loose. I mean, too tight. It's just a hair too big, and I don't have any washers in the house with me. Yeah. Well, that's a bummer. But anyway, that's how that would work. If you could put that on there like so, and put that on there. I just wish I had another washer. Not a washer, but another bolt that was maybe a little shorter. But yeah, it's kind of a bummer. I'll try one more thing. Because I don't like to give up, guys. I don't like to give up. Let's see, put this up like this. I'm going to take a minute and read some of these comments real quick. All right, the oil needs carbureted. Frank, you have one. Oh, okay, yeah, we said perfect. Okay, this is already. Pump, I just got. All right, yep, cool. Just a few drops after go. Problem with my tachometer, that was loading up, still spinning after the bike was off. What kind of tachometer did you have, Kane? Was it was keep spinning? Did you break the cable, or was it the actual tack? Well, you have a good night. I'll talk to you later, Kane. Hit me up later on. We'll chat about that. Okay, so back on this, we're kind of warm too. Wish I had something to throw on there, like a washer or something. Just want to try one more thing here. See if this will work. Sometimes they'll work, sometimes they won't. You know, nope, that ain't gonna work. Well, anyway, if you had a good ground on this one right here, okay, if this was grounded, you'd have spark up here because you have spark down here. The cool thing about this is a shortcut on a means of finding out if your magneto works, which is really all I wanted to test for on this thing. I am kind of bummed on the coil. I'll probably show that next week. I'll get that all set up. So, CI versus DC coils. Well, I'll get to that in a second. The cool thing is, if you're buying a used bike and the guy you're buying it off of says, "Hey, I just did points and condenser to the thing. They're all gapped. Bike still doesn't work," and he tells you, "Oh, it needs an ignition coil." This is a quick way to find out if he actually, possibly. I mean, you'd have to pull the bike apart to tell if he actually changed them or not, or if he did them even correctly. But the quickest way to do it, or if you're out in a pit, right, and you got your 70s bike out there, and you just need to know, is my ignition dead, or did I lose a coil, or I'm not getting sparks to my plug. Is my plug fouled, right? Without pulling out the plug, say you have no tools with you, okay? You can always just disconnect this wire, put it up against the thing, kick the bike over, and if it sparks down here, then chances are you got a fouled plug. Coils don't really go all that often, okay? Now, as you're saying there, CDI versus AC versus DC coils and interchangeability. Okay, that's a good one. So an AC coil is what we have here. Is what we're actually using on this one right here, the magneto takes AC. This is alternating current, hence it's a generator. A DC doesn't use the magneto to fire it. It might just use the points, but it doesn't use the voltage from here. So the voltage from here on a DC system would come from the battery. It would use the magneto. It would take the AC voltage and run it through a bridge rectifier, so a regulator rectifier. That rectifier voltage would change it from AC to DC, charge the battery, and then and then hit your coil with the CDI box. What is a bridge rectifier? What is all that? What are you talking about? So a rectifier is nothing more than a diode. There's another big word. What do you mean by what's a diode? A diode is a doorway. It allows voltage to only flow in one direction. All right. So in other words, if you had a diode, it would have two terminals on it. Okay. And there would be it would show you an arrow with a wall. Okay. That wall is showing you that's the gate side. So in other words, if you put a multimeter on it, you would have continuity one direction. But when you flip the terminals around and put them the other way, you'd get nothing. Okay. That does two things. The regulator does two things, the bridge rectifier. What that does is it changes the voltage from AC current to DC by slowing it down. It holds it back. So, whoa, you can't come through here like that. You have to go through the door. Okay. So if you had an oscilloscope, which is a meter, a type of meter that reads, an AC current is the line right here. An AC current would start the negative, go to the positive, go back. So AC current charges and discharges. Okay. Direct current doesn't do that. It just flatline charges. Okay. So you cannot use an AC ignition system on a DC system. They're two totally different. They're wired completely different because one uses diodes. Now, like I said, a diode is just a doorway. It only allows voltage to flow in one direction. AC current, it's got a negative and a positive pulse to it. It charges and discharges all at the same time, like not at the same time, but as it's rotating. And that's what charges. AC current is what charges this capacitor. And then the points open it up and say, hey, here you go. Eat that coil. And that's how that works. So it's pretty cool how it works. It's pretty neat. The what do you call it there? What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, this magneto, they do make a multi coil one, which is a DC coil. They can wind it for DC current, but it's it's different the way it works. It has to have the regulator, so you can't use it in an AC system. It's just a completely wound. I'll show that maybe next week. Next week when we do Two-Stroke Tuesday, I will bring that on there and show you the difference between an AC and a DC magneto or alternator and generator in this case. So alternator, generators, those are all the same thing. Technically speaking, they both put out voltage, they both charge up. One does it a little bit differently than the other. Like one does like heavy wave on that AC current, like a generator, but this is a magneto. So this right here would be like, if this was in the automotive industry, this would be what you would find on like a 50s or 60s car. It's really old school technology, and it's very, very primitive. The beauty about primitive is it's simple. You only have three components: a charge coil, a condenser or capacitor, and a set of points. That's it. I picked it up an 81 Yamaha MX80 on Saturday. Has no spark. Right way, the magneto is too loose. All right, so when you have what do you call it there? When you have a what do you call it there? A loose or the nut is loose on that magneto, check your flywheel key. That's the other thing. Thank you for bringing that up. That's amazing. And oftentimes I leave this out because it's just something I don't really think a lot about, I do it subconsciously. Inside here, you see that on? There is a groove. Let me turn my light on. Hold on one second. Let me just turn this on. See if I can get this to light up a little better. Here we go. Hopefully that's not. Oh, geez, it looks like the second coming of Christ. All right. Hold on. Let me turn it down. Mode. Okay. Let me see if I can get that to go a little. Okay. I don't know if you can see this or not, but right up inside here, there's a groove. Where is it? Right here. There is a flywheel. There's a groove. I don't think if you can catch that groove. It's like right. It's on the inside here. Anyway, there's a groove in there, and that groove, what that does is that's for a what they call a Woodruff key. The Woodruff key keeps it all in a line. Okay, if your flywheel is loose, it'll go back and forth as the engine's it's kicking. It can cause knocking. It can cause hesitation, bog, all those type of things. Because what's happening is this cam is not opening and closing these points at the correct time. And then if that flywheel key breaks off, and Barry had this problem. So if you watch that video, it's got Barry on it. He had this problem. It actually broke his flywheel key, and it set the whole timing way off. So every time he went to kick the bike, nothing would happen. He's got beautiful spark, beautiful compression. You know, he's like, Kevin, what could it be? You know? And I'm thinking, geez, I'd have to see it to really get into it. Turns out he broke the flywheel key was broken, and the bike hadn't been used since the early 80s, early 90s. So because of a broken flywheel key. So you always want to make sure that your flywheel is torqued down properly and the flywheel key is in excellent condition. If there's any burrs on it, marks on it, get rid of it. They're cheap enough. You can get them anywhere. You can actually take your old one out, go to a hardware store and get one. They're not, excuse me. Kawasaki kept them all pretty much the same. My email in my, Kevin, my email is in my, okay. Okay, awesome. Cool, I'll check that out. Thank you. What do you call it there? So yeah, you definitely want to check your flywheel key. Like I said, guys, there was a lot of tech in this video tonight. And I'll tell you, it's one of those things I'm starting to enjoy doing. I think that with this setup right here, I can do some more tech. I got a lot more stuff to talk to you guys about when it comes to these type of things, oilers and all that type of stuff, and piston ring gap, and that sort of thing. You know, the stuff that I show on the channel, but I really don't get to do the full tech. I think what I'd like to do over the winter is, as I'm doing the videos on that Two-Stroke Tuesday, I'll get into the heavy like this. It'll be more personal, and you guys can ask your one-on-one questions, because I know a lot of you guys have a lot of the questions. And sorry, I'm itchy. And you need to get them. You need to get the questions answered. You know, and that's what I'm here for. And at the end of the day, I'm just a guy in the garage, in the shop, like you guys. You know, out in the yard, on the ground. You know what I'm saying? Do I replace just? Do I replace just the cord? No. Nope. So if you have, what was this? So what you got to do, first thing you want to do with that bike is you want to do this test that I'm doing tonight, Bob. So Bob, you're going to take this black wire off your magneto, off your MX-80. You're going to stick it right up against the screw, and you're going to kick it. Okay, just kick it. You're going to see a spark. If you see a spark, your coil is good. Oftentimes, because the bike has no spark, the coil is the first thing that we accuse. We go, you're a bad coil, I'm going to replace you. Okay? And then you get the coil in, it takes a week, you get the coil in, and you go in, oh, still not working. So here's what you're going to do, Bob. You're going to go online. Partzilla is a good place to look up parts and pieces for your bike. Here's what you want to purchase. You want to purchase a set of points, these guys right here, and you're going to want to replace the condenser, this cylinder looking, it looks like a battery, okay? That's part of a tune-up. Those are the first two things you're going to replace. You're going to replace, and I have ignition videos on that. Oh, if the coil is actually damaged, then go ahead and replace it. But if you don't know any history on the bike, like you said, you just got the bike, you definitely want to do the points and condenser. Okay, points and condenser are part of the what do you call it there? Points and condenser are part of a tune-up. Yeah, don't even just go ahead and replace it. Anything that's damaged, but you definitely, if the bike's been sitting for a long period of time, or you haven't heard it run ever, okay, I would recommend doing a set of points and condenser. And right here, this felt, you see that piece of felt right there? Maybe you can see it or not, right? Right there. Okay. You're gonna need to lubricate that. You're gonna need to put some oil on that. Don't drench it. Just get it damp enough. And what that does is that keeps your cam from rusting and lubricates the points. Because if you don't lubricate that, this little piece of the points right here, this little brown thing, okay, that wears. And as that thing wears, it closes your gap on your points. And your points will be out of spec. That is why oftentimes we have to keep resetting our points. Kevin, I rode the bike. I got like 100 so miles on it. And for the heck of it, I checked my points. And now my 13,000 steel gauge doesn't fit in my KE 100 anymore. How come? Did you oil the felt? What felt? That tells me you didn't oil it. If you oil the felt, that's going to prevent the wear. When you prevent the wear, it's going to keep the point gap the same longer. 1976 KD 125 had a cheap eBay coil. Yeah, the eBay coils are not all that great. I actually did a video on those a while back. They sell you these little orange ones. They tell you they fit, and they don't. This is a 6-volt magneto. These are very light dude. These ain't 12 volts. So when you hear someone say, "Oh, if it's 6 and 12 volts," no, it doesn't. I run into this all the time. I got a drawer full of eBay coils, and I will tell you firsthand, they do not work with these ignition systems because these are 6 volt. Those ignition coils that they sell are 12 volt, and they're for CDI, and that's the difference. And if you have like a 96 to 2001 KE 100 or a CDI bike that doesn't have a module on the frame, like the Suzuki DS80 or the DS100, the module is actually built into the ignition coil. And I did a video on that a while back. Like, see how this one's shaped? It's like a teardrop style. Okay, the ones that have the module on them are squared off, and you can actually see somewhere and on there where the module is placed inside there. It's like a transistor and stuff. Now, once again, as I say, I love points ignition because if you're stuck in if you go for a long ride, right? Say you go for one of those rides. If you're one of those type of people who hit the trails and you hit them hard, and you're out there for hours, okay, and you go into a mud bog or something like that into some water, okay, you'll have to dry your points off if you don't have a good gasket, if it's not sealed, okay. The cool thing about points is even if the bike runs like crap, you can always get home. When a CDI goes, you're dead in the water. You're pushing that thing. If you're a mile out, you're pushing it a mile back. With points, you can clean them out, dry them out, re-sand them, get them all up and going again, and then drive it home. I mean, that's the beauty about having points. You have a shot of getting home. You do not have a shot in the dark with CDI. So keep that in mind. It's just the way they are, you know. This motor right here I got on Marketplace. It's a DS100 engine. It was locked up, and I was able to unlock it. And this is actually the condition I got it in. And I don't have a bike for it at the moment, but because the internals on this thing are actually so nice, I think I'm gonna have to find me a bike. But don't tell my wife. I think this motor needs to go on something. So yeah, looking forward to Racerama, guys. I'm looking forward. Anybody going? Anybody going down to Rice-A-Rama? Great place to go and say hi. Come meet me and what do you call it there? Buy some merch. Meet and greet and all that. Buy some bike parts. They got it's a swap meet, so it's pretty cool. Bike shoe. What about the bike shoe and your? Oh, we're still doing those bikes. We have a ton of bikes to do. And wintertime is going to be a great time to get a lot of these projects done. I have been so inundated with work. It's crazy. I'm actually trying to find a way to possibly slow down a little bit because um, the 40 hours at work, the fatherly stuff I have to do at home, the husband stuff I have to do at home, um, it makes it hard to do a channel. For a while I was just talking to my wife. I said, should we even keep doing the YouTube thing? Because we just can't afford it. It's when I get a motor like this right here, this is $40. This is $40 out of my pocket. $40 don't sound like much, but when you have to purchase parts for it, then it starts to add up. This $40 engine now is up to $200 by the time it's all said and done. And just to share it on YouTube, and YouTube only pays me a couple bucks. So I'm kind of like, geez, what do I do here? Um, it's growing at a great rate, but the money's not going up. So I'm kind of stuck at that particular thing. And I'm not computer savvy, so I don't know how to get sponsors and stuff like that. So, I mean, really, I'm just trying to make it, you know what I mean? And share my knowledge with you guys and that sort of thing. So, it's difficult. It's tough. But I'm gonna what do you call it there? We're gonna keep trucking along. Wife has been making some great stuff. I mean, you got to go over to the store and check it out. I mean, the shirts are awesome. The plates. I'm gonna bring a plate. I got the whole plate display and everything. So I think between the live chats for now until we can get out there. Thank you, Kane, and keep going. I think that there's going to be a light. I just got to stay with it. And that's really where it's hard. It's like I said, it's just difficult when you have to, when you're dumping what you don't have into something. You know what I mean? And that's the complicated part of it. But at the end of the day, I get to hang out with you guys and talk engines and do what we have to do. So we just got to keep moving forward. We just got to keep moving forward. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to keep going. So next week on the we call it Two Stroke Tuesday, I'm actually going to get the coil hooked up to this thing, and I'm going to show you guys how that works. I do apologize. I thought I had the right screw, but I don't want to go out in the shed, be fishing for a screw while you guys are waiting. You know what I mean? So it's the best way to clear heat. Take that thing off. Make yourself a little fire, and put it right in it. Heat clears them out. Heat clears them out. Clears them out really, really good. I take my baffle out and I stick the muffler right onto a fire. You will have to paint it afterwards because it will cook the paint right off of it. But if you got soot in your exhaust, absolutely. If you're not comfortable with throwing your whole muffler onto a flame, you could take a propane torch, stick the end in one, as close as you can to get it, and that'll also burn out a lot of soot. Not as good as throwing it on an open flame though, but definitely it would definitely help. So yeah, to throw that onto some heat. The problem is if you live in an HOA area, they might get concerned with the smell and all that. So you might have to take it over to a buddy's house, but it's worth it. Yeah, like I said, cook that thing right onto a fire. That'll burn all the contaminants right out of that thing, and it won't hurt it either. They take a tremendous amount of heat, and basically you only have to keep it on there until the smoke clears. Once the smoke clears, then you'll be good to go. So back in my chair. So yeah, once the smoke clears, you're good to go. you'll be able to what do you call it? Take that off. Get yourself some good oven mitts or something, or welding gloves, so you can handle it. Once again, it's going to be stupid hot. But another thing, do not put it on grass when you're done. One, you'll hurt the grass, but you'll make marks. It leaves marks on it. So what I would recommend, get a piece of plywood or something you could take it off the flame when the smoke stops and throw it on there. Because you're not trying to distort it. You're just trying to cook all the stuff out of it. Two-stroke. Yep, absolutely. Nothing like a two-stroke. There is nothing like a two-stroke. You know, I get a kick out of these videos. I was watching some videos, and they were talking about the difference between a four-stroke and a two-stroke. And they were like, oh, a four-stroke, the spark plug fires every third time or every second revolution or something like that. And like a two-stroke, no, a two-stroke fires every other revolution, and a four-stroke fires one out of every 4 strokes. And none of that's true. A four-stroke engine fires on the ignition, on the top of compression, and it fires on the exhaust because of the flywheel. The flywheel makes 2 revolutions, so it's going to fire on every time. Every time the piston goes up. Once it comes up, top of compression, top of exhaust. Okay, boom, it's gonna expel it, right? Two-strokes, on the other hand, don't do that at all. Two-strokes fire every single time the piston gets to the top. Every single stroke is a power stroke. So if that's the case, then why do they call it a two-stroke? Because it's doing 2 things at the same time. A two-stroke engine uses both sides of the piston, unlike any other engine. Okay? It fires when the piston is compressing all the way up at the top. But as the piston's moving to compress the air and fuel mixture that's on top before it fires, it's sucking the fuel and air mixture in from the reeds or the rotary valve or the piston valve. Okay, the pistons sometimes have holes in them. Okay, it's sucking in the next charge. Bang! It fires. Okay, now as it's going down, the bottom of the piston is pushing the fuel and air up the transfer ports back onto the top of the cylinder for the next compression stroke. Okay, it's doing 2 things, intake and exhausting, at the exact same time. In fact, if you take your two-stroke engine apart, take the head off, and you roll the piston down, you'll see that the intake and the exhaust port are partially open at the same time. Like they're open at the same time because it's literally the new air and fuel charge is throwing the exhaust out. Hey, get out of here! I need room, man. Give me my space. And then it comes up, compresses, bang, fires again. And that's just how it works. You know, that's why the two-stroke is so much more powerful. This right here is 100 cc's. This right here, if this motor was 100 cc, say a Honda, it would be about that much taller. It would have a cam. It would have more moving parts inside of it. The beauty, one of the biggest beauties of a two-stroke engine, less parts. There's no cam. There's no valves. There's no valve springs, no valve keepers, no valve retainers. Okay? No rocker arms, no push rods, no cam. None of that. There's none of that. It's like, so that is one of the reasons why the two-stroke engine is so misunderstood. Okay, well, why is my bike running like that? Because it needs to be sealed. You can't have an engine that's sealed or else it won't calm down. On a four-stroke, it can be open. It has to be open to the atmosphere. It's got to have a PCV system. It's got to get rid of the crankcase pressures. There is no the crankcase pressure in these two strokes are used to push it up the transfer ports. That is why it can't have any air leaks. Now, what is an air leak? Like, say the crank seal was leaking, the gasket's leaking. Why does the engine rev up? Because the engine thinks that you got the throttle on, that the throttle plate is up. So instead of getting the air through the carburetor, it's going to take it through the crank seal, or it's going to take it through the gasket. That is why a properly sealed engine is very, very important with a two-stroke engine. Because if you don't have it sealed, it's not gonna run right. It's gonna fall on its face. It's gonna run high. It's gonna have a lot of white smoke because it's running lean. It can cause detonation, burn up, because it's like a torch. You have the fuel on, the flame's coming out. When you add the oxygen to that flame, now you can cut through steel. Well, these are aluminum pistons. So it's going to burn a hole through that piston faster than you can shake a stick because you have an air leak. That's why. So when people buy a bike and it's burnt up, oh yeah, it needs a piston and cylinder or a piston and gaskets. Okay, that's what they do. They put a new piston and gasket in, but they didn't pressure test the engine. So pressure testing, which we'll get into, and I have a video on that, of course, blocks off the intake, blocks off the exhaust, and puts pressure through the spark plug hole. And then you soap it around and find the air leak. When you find the air leak, that's your problem. That's your cause. That's what caused the piston to burn up in the first place. Typically, it's a crank seal or a base gasket or a head gasket. Okay, there's not really much that goes on with these things. They're very simple to work on, very simple to diagnose. But we're going to be doing a whole diagnostic video series on these two strokes. And by the time I get done with you guys, you'll be able to get a job at any two-stroke garage. I'll tell you that right now. I'm going to teach you the ins and outs and what you need to look for. And as you saw in this video right here, we didn't use any tools. We had diagnosed that the magneto was good just by kicking the engine over, using the bike's own resources. Unplugged the wire, touched it to the block, kicked the motor over, boom. It had spark. That's what we want. That's what we need. That's the type of thing you need to find out. Okay? Everything else comes after that. The coil, the plug. You're just trying to find out if the magneto, if your points of condenser are bad. Then you can move on to your coil. But we're going to do some stuff. I'm going to show you guys some really cool stuff in upcoming videos. I've got a couple of spark plugs that are actually burnt out. So, and I'm going to show you guys how I come to these conclusions of what I find. So I do have a couple of spark plugs that are completely burnt out, and they do not spark at all. They look good, but they don't spark. And I don't care what you hook them up to, it's not gonna change it. The resistor in the resistor part of the plug is shorted, and it's shorted really bad. It's super cool. I'm actually glad to find one because I really want to show it on the channel. Because I had a couple bikes come through when I was, before I had the channel that had no spark. I had a dead cylinder. It turns out one of my plugs were bad. So there's that. Let me read these couple comments off my chair for a second. Let's see. Thank you. And God bless you too. Got an 81 KE100, and you've helped tremendously with your information. Oh, thank you. I'm glad to help. That's what this channel is about. It's about getting you guys off your recliner, or myself, to get out there and work on bikes. And you work with your hand. You fix something like this, right? You diagnosed it by yourself. You figure it out, okay? I'm just the guy in the garage helping you out. I'm your buddy, And I tell this to everybody, I'm out in the shop. We're just hanging out. We're just two guys, or a guy and a girl, whatever, hanging out, building bikes. That's all we're doing. We're just getting these things up and running and saving them. Because if we don't do this, these bikes go in a scrap heap and they're gone forever. And when they're gone, they're gone. And the less there are of them, the more it drives up the price of the little ones. I saw someone selling a KE100 the other day on Marketplace for $3,000. I almost fell over. And it had like 1,000 something miles on it. I'm like, that bike is not worth $3,000. I don't care what you did to it. I don't care if it was one of my own. One connecting the wire headlight. Yeah, you have so on the KE100, you'd have a green wire. That green wire is your neutral safety light, Frank. The black wire is the same as this one, ignition. Okay. Then you would have two yellow wires. Those two yellow wires, or the one yellow wire, would go up to your voltage regulator, which is on your battery box. It'd be on the back side of that. If you have the other wire there's a blue wire and a pink wire. The pink wire goes to the headlight, and the blue wire goes to a diode and back to the charge to the battery. That's how those go. And um, yeah, and that's how that's wired. So the voltage regulator and rectifier on that bike are all in one. It's just one piece. Welcome. Hopefully that helps you out with that and gets that bike up and going. I love doing this because asking legit questions. And I say this in my videos all the time, guys. Okay, and when I say guys, I mean guys and girls or whatever. Who's ever on. You know, there's no such thing as a stupid question. The only stupid question is the one you don't ask. Okay, and I've heard everything. So do not be embarrassed or ashamed. You know, I mean, I've had people the twirly thing, the twirly thing when you kick the bike over, the thing that spins. I understand. I get it. That's what we do here. We I understand, and I know that I'm not talking to technicians. I'm talking to people in the shops. I'm talking to people who may someday be a technician, and I know that you guys can easily do this. And with a little bit of guidance and a little bit of direction, you guys are going to be golden. These bikes are going to roar to life, and you guys fixed it. I'm just your wingman. That's all I am. I'm just your wingman. So I'm your teacher and your pal, and we're gonna get these bikes up and running together. So I hope you guys got a lot out of this. There was a lot of information here. Have you ever Um, the KE 175 is a rotary valve. I personally would not have ever consider deleting a what do you call it, an oiler on any rotary engine. And the reason for that is because that rotary valve, and there are some race bikes that have a different material on the rotary valve, that like the race bikes. Oh, I race rotary valve engines for my entire life and never had a problem. I delete every oil. I don't do that. Um, it defeats the purpose of the oiler. The oiler is designed for a couple of reasons, but the most important one on a rotary engine is to let that rotor spin on a cushion of oil, kind of like a crank bearing on your car. When you start the car up, the oil pump pumps the oil through all the journals, and then the connecting rod bearings are floating on a cushion of oil. Well, the rotary valve is doing the exact same thing. It's sitting on a cushion of oil and mixing with fuel as it comes through the intake. When you delete it and you do a premix, okay, a smaller percentage of oil is going on to the rotary valve. The rotary valve sees more oil than the rest of the engine, and it kind of that's kind of why the oil mixture is so high on a rotary valve. It's like a 25 to 1. But the other thing too is the purpose of the automatic oil, like even on this DS 100 motor. The purpose of this is so the manufacturer knows that the bike is getting the proper amount of oil. They're made by Mikuni, and they're top quality. And when I say top quality, when they do go, and I have seen only one on my yellow bike go, my yellow KE 100, it over oiled. And that was the only one I've ever seen in 30 years. And you guys saw all those sparkles. I've done a ton of bikes. But the real reason why the automatic oiler is on the 175 or the 100 or even the KM 100 is because you can go to a gas station and just take straight gas and pour it right in your fuel tank. And that's the beauty of having the automatic oiler, because you got the peace of mind. It's made by Mikuni. It's top quality. What I do recommend, and I've been changing my bikes over. I haven't done them all yet, but I have a few. Is see this black oil hose? Get rid of this. This is bad. Get yourself a clear hose, like a blue or a yellow hose so you can actually see the oil going to the pump. Okay. And as always, the other part of the maintenance you want to check is your vent. And that should be done on your pre-trip before you ride the bike. So like before I start my bikes up, I do a pre-trip. I walk around the bike, I check my tires, check my spokes, check my chain deflection, make sure the bike is good there. Um, then I check my lights and all that type of stuff. Check my fuel cap, make sure that's good. Check my oil cap, make sure there's no mud bogger or doggers or whatever you want to call those things, and check the tank vent. And I showed on YouTube a couple times that they make a nest inside the oil line, and no air can get in. So what happens is it starves the automatic oiler for oil, and that's why we got to do our pre-checks, because if that stops, you're going to lose the engine, and then you're in the same place. But the KE 175, I have one. I have a 77, great bike, but you're not gonna. It's not a performance bike by any stretch of the mean. It's still an on-road, bike, and on off-road, but it's not a. It's not like the what do you actually call that thing? Like a KDX 175, or a KX 175. It's not that type of bike. It doesn't have that type of power. So at that point, if you don't have if you're not making that type of power with it, just keep it with the automatic oiler. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's what mine is. I got the green one that was donated to the channel. I'm in Methuen, Massachusetts, and what do you call it there? I was in New Hampshire for a little while, in Maine for a little bit, and then now I'm back in Massachusetts. I was actually born and raised in Haverhill, next town over. So pretty cool. Yeah, yeah. The green, I love the green. My bike actually is in excellent condition. The only thing it had with it, I couldn't find a carburetor for it, and the tank. I did find another tank, but to be honest with you, the new tank is becoming just as bad as the old tank. But that was donated to the channel by a subscriber. Asked me to work on it, and we couldn't find the parts that's not available for it. To find a nice tank, he wanted to keep the nice tank, and then he got into some stuff with his life, and so he's like, you know what? If you want it, I'll give it to you. So I ended up getting the bike, and so I haven't even registered yet. I got to do that. I do want to ride the bike. I got to do fork seals to it, and I got to fix the cylinder head. The cylinder head they have two plugs, and one of them was stripped out. Why is it? Oh, yeah. So on a bike that is not street legal, it would have fewer VINs. This prevents them from like my KD80 has a small VIN too, as opposed to my what you call it there, my KM. So you can't register it on the bike. Like the MX80 is not registerable for the road, whereas the GT 80 is, and it's the same bike. The muffler is different. There is a difference in the muffler. So um, the MX80 has a little bit more power because of that, and the piston than the GT80. So the GT80, the on-road bike, has less. Oh, it's yeah, the KM100. The KM100 should be. You can register a KM100 if it's an actual KM100 and says KM100 on the frame. There should be additional numbers. I don't remember how many mine has, but they should be able to. They should be able to do that with 8. Then what's 78 too? So yeah, that might be the cusp. Mine has a full VIN on my 79. I still my tank, and I have an extra cab, but I need a tachometer. Yeah, the you can get a tachometer for a 125 as well. The 175 and the 125, I believe, share the same tachometer. That's the beauty of that bike. So if you look on my video on Alvin's bike, there's a video of them set right next to each other, and the tachometers, I believe, the same. So it's pretty cool. Cookie. I'm going to ask some questions about my KX 125. Possibly next week. Sounds good. Absolutely. Yeah. Ask away. First thing you're going to want to do though is check compression. That's a compression machine. That's a compression pig. It needs to have high compression. I don't think I've ever seen one run at 120. You need at least like 130, 135 to run on that thing. Yeah, that was a good. That's a good video. You could really see the comparison between the two. Um, what do you call it? I would really like to get my hands on a KE 120. I don't have a 125. I had a 125 before I what do you call it, started my channel, and it was a oh, boatload of junk. Um, oh, thank you. Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, I like doing the rotary valves and like the reed valves and stuff like that. They all have their place, and if you treat the bike, first off, they're old like me, okay, and I don't move as well as I used to move, so you kind of got to take better care of yourself when you get older. Same thing with these bikes. When these bikes right here came out, people beat the snot out of them. Okay. Oh, it's a 100. That thing should be able to wheelie all day long. And then it doesn't. They ruin the bike trying to. The bikes that we have now are survivors. Okay. So if it has an automatic oiler, my recommendation, keep it. If it's pre-mixed or like if the carb is up here like a DS80 or DS100, you can pre-mix that. You can get rid of that all you want. It ain't going to make any difference. But rotary valves, I highly recommend keeping. Oh, also too, where the rotary valve is, right below the rotary valve is the hole for the that crank bearing. So you really kind of want to have that. I think have I got spark and lined up the time on. So kick it. It backfires and doesn't start. Check your flywheel key. If it backfires, check your flywheel key. If you did everything correctly and it's backfiring, chances are you have a broken flywheel key or a broken magnet. I have. That's the other thing too. I've seen a couple broken magnets like on these 3 poles, and it was cracked. It didn't like it. So check your magneto condition. Check and make sure your flywheel key is good. Yeah, it's just a part of timing. These bikes right here, you can adjust the plate, but like on the KEs, the KDs, and all them, you can't. They're fixed. Oh, you're welcome. Always happy to help. So yeah, definitely check that. Make sure your flywheel key is good. I can't stress that enough. Even like lawnmowers, push mowers. If you have a mower blade, right, and you hit a rock with a mower, okay, and the motor just comes to a stop. Oftentimes, the flywheel key will shear because it's designed to. That's what it's designed to do. It's designed to break off, and then this side here will rotate a little bit to take the inertia out of it, so you don't snap your crank. That's what that's all about. That's designed to break, and yeah, it's pretty cool. Okay, oh yeah. Just keep in mind that when you kick these engines over, like when I kick this back, right here, the engine spins backwards. Well, this one spins forward. Some of them spin backwards. Okay, when you kick it over, like this one spins forward. And the reason for that is the way the gearing is inside there. Yes, 4 strokes do too. Yep, yep, 4 strokes do too. 4 strokes break them. That all flywheels on anything small engine, anything that has a heavyweight flywheel has a flywheel key and it's designed to break. They do have a couple of motors that have a press fit, and those are junk. I think they're Italian or something like that. But yeah, it's garbage. Flywheel keys are the way to go. I'm telling you, there's nothing better than a flywheel key. If they break, you can easily get one. They're obtainable. You can get them anywhere. Any hardware store will have them. And just take your old one down and match it up. They typically they come in like an assortment box. And they'll be like, oh, it's a couple bucks. Yeah, but if you set the points, if you set the flywheel in the wrong spot on the crank in relation to the crank, your lines will line up. And when you set the thing, because when you set the points, because the cam and the flywheel are in the same rotation, you're adjusting the points and the points at the right spot. But if the flywheel key is broken and it's twisted, it's not going to matter. It's gonna be off timing. So you're not going to change the relationship between here and the cam, but you will in orientation of the crank. You definitely have to keep those two. That's what that flywheel key does. It keeps everything in alignment. You should be adjusting the flywheel here, but the crank will be over here, and then they'll go around. They'll keep missing. So what's happening is when you're kicking the engine over, the spark is trying to happen on the intake part of that. So when the intake is coming open and the fuel's coming in, bang, and that's why it's popping. Key is in. Then I would check your I replace your spark plug. So your spark plug should be a black lettered spark plug. Should have black writing on it. Shouldn't have resistance. It should look like this one, like a black lettered plug. And stay away from those E plugs. They're junk. These bikes don't like them. So make sure you do that. Yeah, some new points condenser. Yep. Awesome. Yep. Thursday. Cool. Yeah, you'll have to. NGK only. Absolutely, Kane. There is no better plug than NGK. Especially for these particular bikes. Yeah, when you get that all inside there, come back on Two Stroke Tuesday. I want to hear how we made out. Install a new battery. How many? On what particular bike are we talking about? Because some, like on the KE100, it has one black wire, but it has two positives. Yeah, B80S. Yeah, 26. Yeah. Yep. 78 K100, Frank. Yeah, it should have two white wires on the it depends on which electrical system you have, but typically there's a white wire with a red stripe and a white wire with a blue stripe. Those go up to your positive, and then there should be a black with a white stripe for your negative. So it should be 3 total. And then it should go into a fuse box. If your bike has the pink wire and the blue wire coming off the magneto, then it should be I believe it's what's that other color wire? It'd be a white and blue and then a black. Should just have 2. You're welcome. Yeah, definitely check that out. So yeah, those 78s, those are nice bikes. I like the side cover style to them. I wish they used that style side cover on my. I like how it contours the air filter. I don't know, just something about. I got a couple of those covers, a couple of red ones. I'm bringing down to what do you call it, swap meet this weekend. It's such a nice looking bike. Oh yeah, no, you're very welcome. I'm happy, like I said, happy to help. And yeah, 6990 G3SS. Those are great bikes. Those great bikes. I actually have a couple of covers for those too going down. A couple of green ones. What's nice about those, if it's the one I'm thinking about, the G3, I believe that's the. It almost looks like a moped, kind of. It's got the exhaust going straight down out. Oh, what a beautiful looking bike. Beautiful, beautiful looking bike. Great, great, great bike. Yeah, high pipe. Oh, okay. It's the Gia. Julia. Yeah, that's cool too. Man, you got a nice bike. Yeah, that is a cool bike. I love those things. They're just such a beautiful, classic looking bike. And that's what I every time I'm riding my bikes, even my 92, my KE 100, the one I made green, people always go, "What a cool vintage bike." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's only 1992, but that's old." Yep, right, yep. Okay, and I subscribed to your channel. I thought I was subscribed to your channel for some reason. I wasn't. So I resubscribed. I was what do you call it there? I was watching Dale's video and he was talking about all these people. I'm like, oh, you know what? I gotta go check that because I haven't seen anything. Yeah, it has magneto. Yep, some of those go right off the magneto. You can just you just kick them. They do run with no battery. The problem is when you don't hook up your battery, you blow out your headlight. Because what happens is, yeah, oh, see, this is why we do this. This is why we do this. The magneto puts out more AC volts than the headlight can handle without being regulated. So it is like I want to say roughly, don't quote me on it, but like 20 to 30 volts of electricity, and then it gets knocked down to DC through the regulator and the battery. But when you don't have a battery, the battery doesn't turn on the regulator. So it basically gives free reign to the magneto, and the magneto just does whatever the magneto wants without any repercussion for it. It'll blow out that $60 headlight, and yes, they are $60 for a headlight. It's unbelievable. Oh, nice. Yeah, just three cows. Yeah, three pipes. That's cool. The Minnesota. That's awesome. It's Kawasaki. Yeah, the Kawasaki triples are awesome bikes. I would love to get my hands on. Maybe next year I might. I was thinking about that. I'm like, I'd like to get myself an RD 350. Yeah, I know they're ugly. And I'd like to get myself a Kawasaki as like a 750 or something. Just something fun. I I had a water buffalo one time. I was in the process of getting a water buffalo, and GT 750, and it was the motor was locked right up, solid, set for years with water in it, just junk. Had a hole in those. 78 to 88. Share the exact same headlight. Yeah, in bucket. Yep. Actually goes further than that. The on the KU 100s, they kept that thing from 78 all the way up to 2001. Pretty much, it'll work. There's a couple little differences, but pretty much the same thing. It's crazy. Yeah, absolutely crazy. Yeah, absolutely crazy. Yeah, so they're a lot of fun. I'll tell you, there's just nothing like my 350. That's one of the things I like about my Honda CB 350. It's got the 360 engine on it, and I like the fact it's a kickstart. I wish my Virago had that, my 1100, but they see that was a more simplistic time we lived in. You know, battery's dead, starter's dead, kick the damn thing, kick it, set the points in, forget it, and that's how it was back then. Everything was just you wrenched on your own stuff. Nice. Yep, a 175. Is that the one or is that the two? Um, I know the 100 is a one line. I've been seeing those pop up on. Everybody's asking a lot of money for those nowadays, guys. A lot of money. I'd like to get one of those. I got my, like I said, I got my CB350. I have a lot of bikes to work on, guys. I have a lot over the winter. Over the winter, after I get all these caught up with everything, it's going to be crazy working on my bikes. I have my Honda MT 250 to work on, two stroke. And I got a ton of parts for that, guys. Ton of parts. I have my 350 to convert over to CDI, and new coils. Oh yeah, it's crazy. New to new sub. So forgive me if I. Awesome. Hey, welcome, welcome. I'm just happy to have you here. Yep, we everybody's welcome. Everybody's welcome. Yeah, I'll tell you, there's nothing like a two-stroke bike. They're fun and they're torquey. This thing will pull you like a rag doll. And four strokes, just I'm sorry. I know some people have both. I'm a two-stroke guy. I love a good two-stroke. It will just rip you through the woods. The front wheel will come up. They're light. They're agile. I mean, man, they just go. I mean, there's nothing like them. And you get like a 500cc two-stroke, right? Street bike. Okay, that's the equivalent of like a 754 stroke. I mean, it's unbelievable. It'll eat those things alive. The RPM range is insane. They don't come apart. You don't really hear anybody throwing a rod in a two-stroke. you know. So, yep, awesome. Hard to find, yeah. But I'll tell you, lot of fun, guys. A lot of fun. I'll tell you. I have my collection, and I keep it grows. You know how it is. You get one bike and you want them all. And a couple of bikes I'm looking for. I'm hoping to acquire in the next couple of years. Even if I don't get to ride them, I just want to have a couple in my collection, like the KDX 80. Um, what do you call it there? Um, I got a few of them. There's too many to list. I see them all the time. Want to get some street bikes, some street two strokes. But my CB350 will always be my favorite bike. That was my very first bike on the road. Yeah, wow. A lot of Ohio in here tonight. Idaho, I mean, sorry. Didn't mean to offend. Idaho, nice, 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 nice. So hopefully these tech videos. What do you guys think about this tech video tonight? Was this helpful? I know we do a lot of talk and stuff like that on the channel, like on the Two Stroke Tuesdays, and I keep you guys up with current events of what's going on with the channel, what I'm up to, and that sort of thing. But this was my first crack at the Tech Tuesday, Two Stroke Tech Tuesday, and I'll tell you, it was one of those things. I'm like, I got to figure a way of doing this, and this was the best way. I got to do something with the dungeon lighting, though. Very difficult with the lighting. So if you guys liked it, please give a thumbs up. And what video popped up? Oh, awesome! Good, 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 good. Yeah, we're growing, guys. We are growing. I gotta see what we're up to here. Hold on 1 second. Just kind of curious here. Boom. Let's see. Just kind of want to see what we're up to. The channel's been growing like crazy. It's been unbelievable. Yeah, we're up to 11,941 guys. We are approaching 12K. Approaching 12K. It's pretty cool. Oh wow, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, so I appreciate all my subscribers. I appreciate all the support that I get. And I saw tonight on there I got a super thanks, and very, very appreciative of that. Thank you. That helps out a lot. Yeah, Boston brother, love watching. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I do my best. I do my best. And if there's anything that I can improve on, guys, I like constructive criticism. That's what we do. You know, that helps me grow, helps me make better content. Because at the end of the day, I'm a mechanic. I'm not a video guy. You know, this is all, even though I've been doing it since 2016, I'm still new at it. And it's kind of weird. I was talking to people about that. I'm like, you know, how do you do it? Well, it's not easy, but getting there, you know. So I'm looking for, like I said, one of the things I enjoy doing is talking with my subscribers and talking with you guys. And, you know, I can't wait to meet people down at the, what do you call it, the Rice-A-Rama. And then there's another one up in Maine the week after. So I'm going to try to hit that one up too. Another swap meet up in Maine, up in, let me say where it is. Forgive me with the, what do you call it there, with the pronunciation of the city, because I'm probably going to butcher it. It's the 4th annual Southern Maine Fall Swap Meet, Motorcycle Show, Shine, and Rodeo. That last part's got me kind of nervous with the rodeo part. I mean, what are we talking here? Are we talking like a rodeo clown? Are we talking like a bull? Gonna be chasing the people around? I don't know. Sounds dangerous. I love it. Okay, and it's in Southern Maine. It just said, oh yeah, Cornish. Yeah, it's in Cornish, Maine. So I'm gonna hit that one up too. So it'll be pretty cool. So I'll meet some more people up there, see what they got going on. It's their 4th annual, and the whatchamacallit there. And the Rice-A-Rama is their 17th annual, and this is my first time going to either one of these. So it's gonna be pretty neat. So I'm looking forward to that. I am concerned about the rodeo though. And I've been asking people what should I take for a bike with me to, you know, ride around the fairground. I was gonna do my my KV75, my Z50. I wanted to take a smaller bike, or my KM100 or my KD80. I'm like, well, I'm not gonna do the KM100, but the KD80 would be fun. 300s and a key. Oh, that's sweet. Oh, that's cool. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, I haven't. I got to finish loading up the truck, and then after that, it's off to the races. You know what I'm saying? So, but guys, I'm gonna start heading out. Letting you guys go. I got to pick up all this before my wife comes home. Gets mad at me and kills me when she sees I have a full engine in my living room. Hmm? Love you, Laura. Please don't hurt me. So, yeah, so that's that. But I want to say thank you guys for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me, and thank you for all your support. And I really, really appreciate it. Thank you. And I look forward to doing this. So I'll be back on next Tuesday. We're going to do some videos in between, but I want to. I'm trying to stay up with my two-stroke Tuesdays. It's a great time, great place to. Julia King. It's a great place to hang out. As you see, we got people chit chatting in the things. And thank you, Frank. Really appreciate it, guys. Once again, just thank you for all your support. And, you know, it's pretty awesome. So, all right, guys. Well, I'm going to end the stream now. So I will talk to you later. I'm out.